Hello and welcome to Love Anything Art. Today I'll show you how I made this pattern and changed it into these beautiful pieces of jewelry. For the first idea, begin with a ball of gray clay and just gently flatten it. And I left mine pretty thick. Next, I'm going to use some silver leaf. You could use gold leaf too, if that's what you have. Just take off a piece and just start beginning to cover the top. Use your finger to smooth it out and get rid of any air bubbles and make sure that the silver leaf is connected to your clay. Ooh, so shiny! Next, I will cover it with some black paint. Again, you can use any color that you want. Just put a nice, generous helping all over the top and then spread it out. It's kind of therapeutic. I love painting. Once it is completely dry, use your fingers and just start gently pulling at the clay to get it to crack. You can crack it as much as you like or as little as you would like. I kind of like to go for just the right amount of crackle. You can also use your roller to make it nice and even and to smooth everything out. And this is the finished product for me. I will take a small circle cutter and start making several small circles. You'll need one for each of the beads. Remove away all that excess clay and remember to keep it for your scraps. Take one of the circles and fold it back so that you have a little cup shape, and then close up the hole. Then just start gently rolling it between your fingers and your hands to smooth it out. And then just continue with all of your other circles. Make sure your bracelet is big enough for your wrist. Start stringing your beads onto a metal stick. You could also use a toothpick. It'll give you a larger hole. Just place them on there. Just taking your time and skewering each one. And I'm going to place it on a folded piece of paper. Kind of looks like a fan. It'll keep it from rolling around as you bake it. Once you have finished all of your beads, go ahead and bake it in the oven. Remove each of the beads from your sticks or metal findings or toothpick. I'm placing it in a container to keep them from rolling around. I'm going to use some stretchy cord throughout this project. Measure it around your wrist, or however big you want it to be, necklace, anklet. and then cut off the excess and start stringing your beads. Once you reach the end, just start tying it into knots. Remove the excess string and you are good to go. Nice simple bracelet for you. For this next idea, I'll take the remainder of my clay and I'm going to use a square shape this time. Cut out several square shapes. You'll need 2 for each of your pieces. Remove away the excess, and again, scrap clay fun for you later. You'll need your metal stick pins again this time. Take one of your squares, flip it over so that the gray side is facing up. Place in 2 stick pins, one on each end, pretty close to the edge. Take another of your squares, place it on top. Smooth out your edges to join all the seams together. And I am gently moving it around just so that the stick pins aren't completely stuck in there and hopefully will be easier to get out after baking. I'll place mine on a sheet of paper and bake it in the oven. Once baked, just remove all of your stick pins. Did have to do each of them one at a time. Again, using that stretchy cord. Measure out the amount of string you'll need. Cut off all the excess. And you'll need another one the same size. Place one of your stretch cords through one of the holes of each of your pieces. And then place the second one through the second hole in your pieces. And continue on until you have all of your pieces strung. Again, just like the first one, want to make sure it is big enough for your wrist. And then you will begin tying it into knots. And voila! A nice simple bracelet idea for you. For this next one, I will take some of that silver clay and roll it out into a long shape. Use your tissue blade and cut off even sections. And with each of those, I will roll it into kind of an oval shape. Again, using the stick pins. Just string it through the center of your clay. Once you have it worked in there, just gently roll it so it kind of looks like a little corn dog on a stick. And then move on to all of your other ones. And then Just wrap that in your silver leaf. It can be kind of tedious, so pop in your favorite podcast or any of your favorite tunes and get to rolling. I'd sing you a tune, but I can't carry one. I'm going to use some of that black paint from before, and I will coat each of my little silver corn dogs in some black paint. Again, just put on your podcast and soothing music and get to painting, folks. Once it's good and coated, just set it somewhere to dry and continue on with your pieces. I would recommend rolling it on a piece of paper. I tried doing this on my work surface, and it kind of just slid around. But this way it'll catch all of your little messies from any paint, and it'll give you a nice even roll. Next, take a tissue blade and flatten each of the ends. And I would roll it gently between your fingers just to dislodge it from being stuck to your stick pin. It'll make for easier pull off after it's baked. Again, place it on a piece of paper and bake in the oven. And gently remove from your stick pins once they're done baked and cooled. Some more of that magic stretch cord for you. Measure out the length of your bracelet, necklace, or anklet. String your tube beads. And I have strung 2 different cords. I thought it would be a very nice look to the bracelet. And just start tying your string into knots. Once you have it firmly into place, cut off the excess, and you have a nice tube bracelet. I've made a second pattern, pretty much like the first. I've rolled out a piece of gray clay. And I have coated it in paint again. But this time I did put on 3 coats of the black paint, letting it dry each time before applying a second coat. And the third. I'm going to place that on a scrap piece of paper. And then just start gently rolling with my roller. And as you can see, it's already crackling. I really like this part. It was kind of oddly satisfying. And once you are done, it should look something like that. I really like the way that looks. I'm going to cut out 2 circles with my large circle cutter. And I'm going to make my hearts. To do that, I'm using this heart mold. I'll put a link for this mold in the description box below. But to get the clay to stick down inside of there without destroying that pattern, use your finger, press up from the bottom, then put the clay in there, and then gently let go, and it should suction that clay right down into the shape of the heart. You want to fill in that hole. I'm just going to use the excess clay from around the heart to do so. Just take it, roll it up, and press it inside. And keep going until you have your heart filled up. Be sure that it's pressed pretty firm inside of there to make sure you get out any wrinkles that might be in the clay. You want it to be as smooth as possible because you don't want to do any sanding. Use your tissue blade and gently remove the excess layer of clay that is spilled over the mold. And then just make sure again that it is all in place there and gently pop it out. Place in your eye hooks before baking. Place those on a piece of paper and then just bake them in the oven. I've resined my little beauties and they are all perfect and ready to go. I love the way they turned out. I'm going to use the rest of that clay from the heart project before. I'm taking an extra large cutter and I will cut out a circle. And with my circle, hey guys, I can see you in the spoon. I'm going to place the clay on the back of the spoon with the pattern side facing out. Just use my fingers to gently pat it into place, make sure there's no air bubbles underneath, and make sure that the clay has formed to the spoon. Then you can just place that directly in the oven and bake it. And while that's baking and cooling, I'm taking some scrap clay. You can use any color that you would like. These are all my beautiful scraps that I need to make lots of scrap projects from. And I did choose a color that I thought looked good with the black clay. Most colors do look good with black, so you're good to go with any scraps. Begin chopping. I do want my pieces to be kind of small. Again, with the black paint, just put a little bit on top there, and then just mix it up pretty thoroughly. Once it's mixed, I'm going to take a piece of wax paper and place those on there. Be sure to spread it out so that it dries just a little bit faster and so that the pieces don't clump together. After drying, I'm going to place it back on my tile. And again, give it a nice chop. This will make the pieces even smaller. That's my pile of clay. That is my baked and cooled spoon. Just take a tissue blade, place it underneath it, and gently pop it off. To get the clay to stick back to itself, I'm going to use a little bit of Bacon Bond. Place a little bit on top. You can use your fingers or a tool. I just found it easier with my fingers. And then just start mixing it with the clay. And I'll place a nice helping there in the middle. I'll place a little bit of Bacon Bond around the rim of it so that I can add some more of my chopped up clay inside of there so that it will stick. I think that's just about good. I'm going to cut out another circle shape with the same circle cutter. And in the middle of that, I'll take a medium-sized circle cutter and cut out another circle. And because it is kind of a dome shape, I do need that top circle to be just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to gently pull and tug on it to make it a little wider. And once I know that it fits, I'm going to flatten the center part so that it doesn't have any kind of a lip. I'll place Bacon Bond all the way around the outer rim of my baked circle. And I will place my clay on top, gently pressing it into place, joining the sides together, smoothing out any seams, and overall just kind of perfecting it. It kind of looks like a little flying saucer, or like one of those little barbecue pits, the little fire pits with the burning coals in the middle. And then on that center part, I'm going to start to peel it out and back and kind of roll it up and over. Kind of like it's being ripped out of the center there. You can move around all of your pieces in the middle. Get them situated. You can also add some more inside of there just to fill up the hole. And then continue rolling back your clay. And you can make little cut marks in it. Just decorate it however you want it to be. And I will bake and place in eye hooks, resin my piece, and then just attach a string for the necklace. And this is my finished product. It does look quite pretty. Very simple, but a nice little pendant. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!